tells him, he says, now don't be afraid. I understand because you have seen some plots and you have seen some strategies of the enemy, and the enemy is out there. He's waiting to take advantage of you. But you've got to understand that your mental estate, your mental position is very important. You have to be strong-minded. You've got to believe God through everything that is negative. You've got to believe God through everything that looks like it's going the wrong way. That's like Gideon behind the wine press, and he's spitting out the wheat, and along comes the angel, and the angel says to Gideon, Gideon, thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon does not even recognize who he is. He does not even know his own identity. He says, if God be for us, then why are all these things happening? Listen, you've got to have enough faith to look through the circumstances that are taking place in your life right now. The Bible declared that Jesus, for the joy that was set before him, he despised the shame. He did not look at what was happening in his immediate environment, because what's going on right now in your life really don't matter. What you've got to do is you've got to look beyond all that and understand that in the end you're going to win, that God's already got it fixed up and set up, that even though the enemy means it for evil, God means it for good. That's one of the main machinations and plans of the enemy, is to get you in the area of doubt, get you suspecting whether or not God is going to do what he said, getting you to become fearful and doubtful of your future and your destiny. You've got to understand that God has your future in his hand. He would not have brought you this far if he was not going to take you the rest of the way. He says, I don't want you to develop some new faith and newfound confidence in God. He says, what I want you to do right at this place is I want you to remember the Lord. I want you to remember some of the things that God did for you in the past. I want you to reminisce about how God brought you out before. I want you to go back down memory lane and think about how many times you were in a pinch and you didn't know how you were going to get out, and God brought you out with a mighty and an outstretched arm. Every now and then you've got to have a testimony service in your own mind and in your own thought processes. I believe that he who hath begun a good work in you shall, somebody how to shall perform it. You know how in a play, y'all rehearse the play and you go over the script and you practice all the lines and you go through all the scenes and everything, and then comes opening day and some things happen where it looks like you're not going to be able to open, and so you're wondering, have we practiced in vain? Have we rehearsed for no reason? But it says, no. God did not invest in you all month long and all week long, and you go through all the practice drills and go through all the tests and you go through all the trials and you had to pray all night and you had to lay awake and cry big crocodile tears and you had to fast and push your plate back. The Bible says he shall perform it, that your fasting is not in vain. Your prayer, I don't know about nobody in here, but I done prayed too many times for my prayers not to be effective. Hit somebody, tell him he shall perform it. And so he says, because you got to get this, you have to get this, because you can't make another step as long as you're in fear. You got to shake off fear. You got to know that whatever God has said, it's going to come to pass. You have to know that God would not have delivered you out of those enemies' hands and discovered to you and revealed to you the plot of the enemy if he was going to let the enemy take you by surprise. Look back at the last thing that went wrong in your life, thought that you would never recover from it, and God made a way for you. You ought to use that as a fulcrum, use that as a catalyst to understand that if God did that back then, he's going to do this right now. I do not believe that God is going to leave me now. He is the same yesterday, the same today, and he's the same forevermore. He's still a miracle worker. He's still a heart fixer and a mind regulator. He's still a lawyer in the courtroom and a doctor in the sick room. He's still a God that can do anything but fail. Somebody give God some praise.